Oh. Hey everybody, happy Thanksgiving. Thank you so much for joining us today on Etcetera Live on the Vibe. I'm your host, Kelly Barrett. Super excited today. I've got some excellent Canadian guests here, straight out of PEI, one of the most exciting bands to come out of Canada. The guys from Haywire are here today, everybody. Hi, welcome.
Hey.
Hi guys from Haywire.
And you are?
Yeah, and then this guy.
And then that guy. So I just want to let the folks at home know that David is actually coming to us live from the Toronto airport. So if he might have to leave us partway through the show. So I just want to fill everybody in on that. We have a lot to talk about today, but first off, I understand some congratulations are in order because I understand that you had your first gig ever with JD, and it was just a solid, successful, sold-out 3-show gig at Monty's. What was that like?
It was a solid, successful 3 sold-out shows.
It was a solid, but I'll ask Ronnie this question because I was thinking, you guys hadn't performed for 2 years on top of it all. And so to come back after, being locked down and not performing, and then it was, of course, your first show with JD. That must have been amazing.
You're asking me?
I'm asking you.
It was a lot of fun. It was a bit of work putting it together, and we learned a few JD songs, which rocked, and it was a blast. I think we worked for about 3 weeks or something, trying to get our shit together after not playing for 2 years. 2 years,
Yeah, right.
Great.
Right. Yeah, because I know I was talking to some of my other guests about that, and I think there's almost a certain level of anxiety that comes from just not doing it for 2 years, but I imagine that goes away pretty quickly, and then it's like riding a bike, I would think,
Total muscle memory. Once this first songs kick in and your brain starts going, oh, this is what you do,
Right.
And but I mean, it was unique because we all had to really I had to learn a lot of their songs, and they had to relearn a lot of their songs because we were doing them in different keys. So it was really a lot of fun. There was a lot of thinking outside the box, which created a lot of energy, and it created these sort of terrifying moments of, is this going to work? And then we had a rehearsal about a week before, and we did 2 days, and it ran really smoothly, and it was just like stepping back into the rehearsal spot because it was only about a week later that we went to Monty's, and everything was still there, all the ideas were still fresh, and it felt super strong. After your butterflies leave you. Oh, what's going on here? There we go. And just once the first song was over, it was kind of like, oh yeah, this is what it feels like, and boom, we were on.
Right, just like you've been doing it forever with the same group of people. And
absolutely. Oh, I think we lost Dave.
Yeah, that's right. He'll come back. And so, I always like to, we got a lot of, we want to talk a lot about current events and obviously the new edition and whatnot, but I always like to get a little bit of a backstory. And then we're going to go to some comments here that are already flying in. So, Sean, why don't we start with you and just tell us a little bit about how you started your musical journey and...
From Dave, how far back you want to go?
From the beginning.
We did one gig in front of my parents, and that was it. Short list. Kind of same way that all of us did back. Early 20s. We were all in the circuit, the Maritimes, and I was in a band even before Haywire, but we were all doing the same kind of thing, trying to break it here and then tour across Canada. And then after that, I joined the band, and that's where it really went downhill after that.
Haywire always had a problem with drummers. And so
they're the worst.
I was breaking up in Vancouver, and I called him in the Maritime and said, I heard your band's breaking up. He's like, how do you know that? Anyway, so offered him the gig, and that's how we joined the band anyway. So
that's why I left show business. It's like, I heard your band's breaking up. Yeah, I'm really sorry. Can you come out and play with us?
Yeah. When can you be here?
That's a tragedy. I know, but come on.
Right on. Okay, and so we'll move on to you, Marvin.
Me, I was just a kid playing guitar, and somebody heard me in a music store and said, hey, come join our band. And I was like, think I was like 16 years ago, playing with all these 22-year-olds.
Right.
And so it wasn't all enough getting the clothes, but I played them anyway.
And you three are the original members, my
Yeah.
understanding. Right,
Yeah.
right.
Dave and I and Ronnie, the original.
The original members. Okay.
Sean and I are the new guys.
Oh, the new kids on the block.
Well, I don't know if people know this, but Haywire started in the Tim Hortons.
Oh, you got to tell us about that.
We left a gig. We left a gig at a club where all our friends, all our musicians were there. And we ended up at Tim Hortons, and it was just the 5 guys in Haywire. And we were like, I don't know if it was me or one of the guys spoke. I said, all the people at this table can go on the road. We have no commitments. We can go on the road. So we set up a rehearsal the next day, and that's where it started.
As long as we don't end at a Tim Hortons, we're doing good.
Right.
That's for the very first time that Haywire was spoken. That's what it said.
Well, that's such a Canadian story, isn't it? Right, and of course, back in the 80s, it was, you could literally do that. You could literally put a band together and decide that you were going to hit the road and tour indefinitely and live full-time on the road and kind of do that. So I bet you feel fortunate to have been a part of that era where you could literally just hit the road and make a living at it full-time.
Yeah, it took a bit of work to get going, get it all, I won't bore you with all the problems, but anyway, we started in this D circuit and then going to the C circuit and then the B, and then you're finally in the A, and then just Haywire always lived on the next step, another step, another step, another step.
Paid your dues.
Exactly.
Right, and so I'm wondering what was the catalyst, do you think, that took you from, a touring bar band to, having hits on the radio? What was that transition period, if you could explain that for us?
There was no more steps. We were already at the top of the maritime, the club scene, playing from the thousands. It was like there was no place to go and we couldn't keep doing that. So we're kind of like, we really need to learn how to try to write songs. Because
Right.
no one's going to help us write them. No one's going to fly in and give us these great songs. So we had to try and figure out how to do it ourselves. So Dave and I locked ourselves in the basement and let's go, see what happens. That's what started.
But what's really
Right.
cool is all that groundwork you guys put in. That's why I've always loved Haywire, because you can tell that it's not just a manufactured band and they said we're gonna put on all leather jackets and blue jeans and this is how we're gonna sound, whatever. It's sort of organically evolved and all of those club dates and a lot of musicians will say the same thing when you're cutting your teeth. That musical those fundamentals start kind of bleeding in as your influences into your writing, and it's really cool. That's why I've been a Haywire fan my whole life. So awesome.
Right, I would agree with you, JD. And getting back to the writing process, and Ronnie, I'll let you answer this. What did the writing process look like? For these hits that that are still being played on the radio today. What was the Haywire writing machine all about? That would be more okay. Go ahead. Yeah.
The songwriting world.
It was just just write 110 bad songs and hey, that was you know what I mean. It's like it was pure determination. It was determination. David, he would write first. It was a competition, then we started writing together. I'm just like, oh my god, that song, it doesn't suck. Oh my god, it's like, so
Practically. That song doesn't suck.
it was for anybody, any aspiring writers, it was just determination, not giving up.
Right. Okay. So I don't want to leave Ronnie out there. Can we get a little background on you, Ronnie, and your start in the music industry?
No. That's wrong.
I can go back further like Sean, and I can bring up one guy.
Start from the embryo stage.
Roger Jones. I lived next door to Roger Jones. I used to listen to this guy sing and play guitar, and he inspired me and my friends, because he's a few years older, to try to do the same. And a few years later, I ended up playing with Roger Jones, even though he was like the guy that's way older when you're 10 years old. And and Paul's Marvin, and we lost our guitar player. And Marvin came and played with me and Roger Jones. A few years after that, Marvin left, and David Rashi came into the project going. So this is going way back. And,
Right.
So that's really where I got inspired, and why I owe a lot to the next door project.
And the band with him, that's the band that I joined when I was 16 years old. He was the bass
Is that
player.
right?
Yeah, so we've been playing together for years. Wow.
Yeah, so it must be more like a family, like a brotherhood than anything, I would imagine. And when you're talking about, yeah,
Friends on
right.
he walked into that. He knows, he's seen firsthand what it's like.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Actually, I love it. It's beautiful. It's
Right,
so
and
cool.
you know, we'll just turn to you, JD, right now too, and talk a little bit about that. If you want to give us some background history, that would be amazing, and then segue into the Haywire.
Well, hearing their stories, mine is very similar. I was a young kid in the Maritimes. You know, I was going to school and, you know, getting in fights and getting called names because I wanted to sing, and went back up to Ontario for a couple of years of school, and then went out to a party called the Labyrinth of Love, and I got up on stage and sang. It was a Valentine's Day party, and Kenny McLean, the bass player from Platinum Blonde, was in the audience.
Cool.
And he came up to me and he's like, "Do you have a manager?" And I said, "No, I'm like 16, right?" And I said, "No." And he said, "Well,
I have a paper route.
yeah." He's like, "How would you like some cocaine and I'll be your manager?" And I was not kidding. God rest his soul. He's passed away now, but and then there was guy by the name of Owen Tennyson, who was a drummer for a band called the Carpet Frogs, I think they were called. Anyway, same thing. Just started playing with Mark Storm from a band called National Velvet that had a female singer, Maria.
Right.
They had they were a great Canadian band. So I had all of these guys that were, you know, they'd had hits and charted in Canada and stuff like that, and it really upped my game. And opened my eyes. You know, here I am lying about my age. I'm telling, you know, oh, I'm 19, and then you're going into these rock bars in Toronto, like Lulu's and Kitchener and stuff like that. And it was a heavy, you know, it's the late 80s, early 90s, so there was a lot of hard rock going on, and you know, guys like everything was wow, like,
Right.
you know, everything was high screaming and singing. So I sort of tried to do that, and then, you know, after a couple of years of that, I didn't want to be a screamer, right? I wanted to be, you know, a vocalist, a singer. So, you know, I started getting into more, you know, softer, you know, acoustic stuff, and that kind of opened up another voice for me. And then, you know, I've always been a fan of Haywire. You know, growing up, it was AC/DC, Haywire, INXS, and the Cars. Those are my 4 staples. And funny enough, got to meet all of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's pretty cool. Kid from Salt Springs, Nova Scotia, makes good. And just walking in, fast forward now to, you know, my experience with INXS was very similar, where I walked into, you know, literally 3 of them were brothers their whole lives. So it's a 30-year. They've known each other for 30 plus years,
Right.
and they kind of speak their own language. And you know, you have to sort of navigate in and around that. And walking into Haywire was no exception. I mean, I really was grateful for my experience that I had before, because I think it helped sort of make this cohesive a little quicker, instead of, you know, months and months of like, well, how come he said that, or how come, you know, I don't really have any questions other than what time are we playing and what are the songs that we're doing, because that's really, at the end of the day, even if you're Adele or Bob Dylan or whatever, you know, I think it was actually Bob Dylan that said something like, at the end of the day, you're just the entertainment. Whether you're the biggest star in the world, you're just the entertainment. So when you look at it that way, it kind of takes away a lot of the pressure of trying to be like, I've got to be this big thing. You know, just go out there. And what I've learned is just go out there, move to the music. If the music makes you move, then move to it. And that's how I sing. Like I can't just stand there. As these guys know, I can't just stand there. I got to be moving around. I'm almost like ADD in that sense, that I need to be moving, because I need to feel that beat, and I need to feel that rhythm, and I need to feel those riffs. And I think that's something that those guys also experience when they're playing, because there's just you know, I've been in 2 really fantastic bands, and Haywire is one of them, and they have similarities in the sense that I now know why all the other bands I was in did not make it, because they don't share the same qualities that the guys in Haywire have. and the guys in INXS have. There's certain qualities. I can't really put my finger on it, but there's just certain, let's call them standards and expectations that you have as a band and of the music and to entertain people. And if you don't have those expectations, if you're just like, for example, I moved back home and started jamming with a guy, and he kept saying, yeah, I know that song, but he just knew the basic chords to the song. He didn't know how to play it. And I think that's what's different is like when you have a piece of music, I mean, I'm sure I could pad chord along to, one of Mozart's concertos, but I can't play it. You know what I mean? Like, that's playing it.
There's a difference, right?
It's a difference between knowing the song and playing the song. And it felt so fucking amazing to get back on stage with guys who really knew how to play the music, really just dig in and play those songs. And I was on cloud nine. All those 3 shows was great.
Oh, well, that's a very nice compliment. And I'm gonna pose this question to you, Sean. So what was it exactly about JD that made him the obvious choice to join the Haywire family?
Sean.
I really padded this one out. No, I remember we were all talking about this. Okay, well, you can do it, and a bunch of names were being bandied about. And then Dave called me one day and said, "I just wonder what JD Fletcher's up to," and it's just ding. It was we got to get a hold of him. That just seems like an obviously good fit. So Dave just tracked him down, and he's really into it. And he called me back, but JD's really into it. It was just and it just became obvious at that point.
It was funny because Dave called me and he said he had to make a few phone calls, and I didn't know. And I was working in the studio, and the guy I run a studio with, Ian Camp, said, Dave from Haywire wants to talk to you. And it was like, I immediately just like crawled over the desk to get the number. I'm like, hey Dave, Stady, how's it going? I was like, this is awesome. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Well, that's JD, just talking about this now, like, how lucky are you?
Oh,
I mean, I've got a couple of favorite bands, and I toured for years and years, and I can't imagine what that must feel like to then become part of these people that you've admired all these years.
I'm truly blessed. I don't know. There's something in my lifeline or something on my whatever this is here that is just like universally puts me. I mean, I hadn't been on stage and with a real band for half a decade, like 5-6 years,
right.
And but I kept thinking, and I had offers. Don't get me wrong, I had offers, and I would show up to a rehearsal, and the drummer's just way too loud, and the guy doesn't, he knows 3 chords on the guitar, and it's just like, oh. And you go, hey, thanks for the invite, guys. I really appreciate it, and then a couple of them like, yeah, F you, JD, whatever, man. It's like it's not for me. I'm sure you guys are going to be fantastic,
Right.
And then to walk in, and I didn't know, I didn't know what was going on, because it could have been, they could have let it go. Like, they could have let the music go. They could have not been interested anymore. They could have checked out, mentally and emotionally with the music. But when I walked into that first rehearsal, it was like I was transported back in time. I felt like I was looking at the guys on my wall, and I was listening, fixing my hair in the mirror before I went to school, in the morning, listening to Bad Boy, and just that kind of genuine feeling. And it wasn't something that I had to dig deep and look really hard. It just kind of like floated up to the surface, and like, hey, and I walked out of there, and I said to myself, I think this is going to really work. And I was worried that, I would be letting them down, because they approached it with such integrity and so much energy into the songs, right, that it was like, holy shit, yeah, this is, and it snapped me back into reality. Like, holy shit, yeah, when guys take this, when you take it seriously, you gotta bring your A game. And yes. So I will be eternally grateful to them. Like I said, felt like I had this car that was in a shed with a cover over it that I walk by every day. I'm like, one day I'm going to take that out on the highway. And
right.
These guys forced me to just rip the cover off, get behind the seat, put it in drive, and just screech down the road. And I'll be eternally grateful to you guys for that forever. I love you guys.
Wow, well, that's a great way to describe that. I love that analogy. And oh, look, Dave's back in the house. David, how are you?
Good. I apologize for that. My phone died just as we were going live.
That's all good.
He's in secondary holding right now. It's the guy with a rubber glove. Like, okay, I'm sure you're on an interview.
Well, it's great to see. It's good to have you back, David. And we're going to get to a couple of comments here because they're coming in, and then I want to hear a little bit about your backstory, David, and I'm sure the viewers do as well. So we have some comments. Doug Corby is just saying hi, all. Perry Boyko is a good friend of mine and good friend of the show. Hi, Haywire. Kelly Barrett. Sean, you're my friend on Facebook. Okay, you're Facebook friends, Sean, with him. Perry just wants to wish you a happy Thanksgiving. And there's a question. Alan Zilkowski is saying, great show last weekend, guys.
Alan took some awesome pictures of the band. We're just amazing pictures. We really appreciate it, Alan.
Right on. So he must have been at the show. And so one of the questions is, and maybe David, I'll ask you this one. Perry wants to know if you're in the process of writing any new material.
We're always writing new material. Marvin and I, we're always writing in our home studios and stuff, and doing a new Haywire album is something that we've talked about and we're working on all the time. And now that JD's showed up, we're talking again. So it's keep looking to the future, see what happens.
Now the songs will have swear words in them.
Juice things up a little bit, JD. And so I imagine it does add a new dynamic when you add a new member to the band. Like it just certain new opportunities and new sounds and new ideas and new input. And what would you say about that?
It's nice how JD really fit in. Like we've been playing for the last 40 years as a band, and we married to 4 other people, and we know exactly what each other person's thinking. So in the last 2 years since we played again, and JD for him to show up was really a natural fit, and it was really nice to have that instant fit with the band and just basically go do the show. And it was quite something last weekend.
Right. Well, again, 3 sold out shows, and I'm just curious when we think about some of the incredible hits that you guys had. Dance Desire, Standing in Line, Black and Blue. Like I could go on and on and on, and I'm just curious. And Sean, maybe we'll let you answer this, or anybody can jump in with this. I'm just curious, what is it that you think makes your songs have that mass appeal and that longevity that that's literally transcended generations? What do you think it is about your songs that have that effect, that mass appeal?
The drumming.
Good answer, drummer Sean.
If you said hairstyle, I'm going to leave again.
I think myself personally, all we had was our own compass to write those songs. We had to like them and like what we're doing because that's all we had. And it just, are we lucky that the people seem to enjoy them and like them and stuff? I don't know, but that's all we had. If it had failed, it would have been. That's all we could do because it's our own compass. That's all we had to go by.
Right, and I'm wondering, I'll pose this question to you, Ronnie. Where were you the first time you hear yourself on the radio, and what was that like?
Oh, brother, that might have been Jealousy or something. I don't even know what song was the first song.
That was like really early. That's before the first Haywire record was there.
Yeah,
right.
Probably with these guys because we were on the road like all the time. We hardly went home, so I would say we were all probably driving together in our Dan or the old whatever it was.
U-Haul.
Marvin or somebody else might remember. I have no idea, but I expect we were all together. It was probably the song Jealousy.
Actually, the first time we were ever on the radio, we did a live broadcast. Well, it wasn't live. It was live mixed and that played on a radio station. And we were doing some originals and covers. And that's the first time we ever heard ourselves on the radio.
Is it surreal? It must just be slightly surreal, hey, in that moment?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we're all inside our little bubble. There's no internet. There's nothing back then. So unless it made its way into our van or our dressing room, we never heard about it.
You never heard about it, right?
Yeah, it's true. You're on the road so long. I love the story that you guys were. This is why I think if CBC Television or CTV or Global was very smart, they would let these guys write their experiences and put it into a miniseries about, you know, just being a maritime band on an island, you know, and making it off that island. But one of my favorite stories that you guys told me was you were playing so much that one of the gigs that you went to, you didn't even realize it was an actual contest, a battle of the bands. And you just went and played and you won. It's like, you just go up and you're like, man, this is a pretty cool game with other bands. Hey, wait a minute, we're in a effing contest right now. That is awesome.
We didn't know. We didn't know until it was the very last big show I think it was in St. John. St. John? Yeah, St. John. Anyway, all of a sudden, like, what's this contest? Well, you've been playing in it for the last.
You've been in it. Oh, that's great. Oh.
Was there a little bit of drinking going on? Maybe, I don't know. How do you not know?
They were.
It was the '80s, right?
Yeah, it was the '80s.
Till your crew can decide, and you know.
Right on, yeah. So David, why don't you give us a little bit of your musical background and you know, and I'm a big fan of keyboards in rock music because I think you can add dynamics that you wouldn't otherwise be able to without it, and so I'm always impressed with keyboards in a rock band, and so how does your musical journey start?
Well, it's funny you should ask that question because I'm not a big fan of keyboards.
He had the band.
Honestly, I'm a guitar player. I started playing guitar when I was 5 years old, and I love guitar. That was my main instrument till probably 1982, when Marvin probably wanted to learn "Turn Me Loose" by Loverboy, and I had a year under my belt, and it's like I can do the intro of that, and. Fast forward to today, I'm the keyboard player of Haywire.
And that's how that went down. You guys are the craziest group of musicians I've ever had on my show. I swear to God.
It's really, honestly, it's about necessity. It's like what's needed for this song to work, and who can do it and just make it happen. And what's really neat about that story is that a few years ago, we met Loverboy. We did a show with them out west. I think it was in Saskatoon, Rock the River or something. Sean, is that the name of it? Is?
Yes, that's Saskatoon.
And we got to meet those guys, and I got to tell the people on this Loverboy that story, and it's like, you know, it's your fault that I'm a keyboard player, and it shook his hand, and we had a great time.
That's full circle, baby. That's what I was saying. Well, I don't know if you know this, but when Dave called me, I had to tell him, you know, if we're gonna start this relationship, my good man, we're going to start with some honesty here. So when I was younger and in grade 8 or 9 or whatever, some girls at school thought that I looked a lot like Dave. So I kind of used that and said, yeah, he's my cousin. And so like I had, you know, fellow classmates and even in older grades come up, hey, is your cousin, remember Haywire? I'm like, yes. Like, oh man, that's awesome. So when he called, I was at one point I thought, if I don't tell him, I'm sure I didn't even know if he knew, but he was like, hey, and by the way, did you used to effing tell people I was your cousin when you were younger? So yeah, and it was now full circle. Getting to say that to him is like, it was crazy. Like, you know, it's a small world, this music industry, I'll tell you what.
I was just going to say that, JD. And you know, when I say crazy, I mean that with affection. Crazy is good. Like I think you have to have a little bit of crazy to be in this industry. And
oh yeah, you got it. That's what and these guys will attest to this. That's what I tell every up and coming musician. It's really friggin' easy to go down to your local pub and play twice a month because you get a chance to recoup and you can write and practice your little songs and go da-da-da. But when you are on tour and you are like a commodity and you're number one in the charts or top 10 in the country, and there's an expectation there, you can't have a bad day because the people paying for the show do not care if you had an argument with your girlfriend. They don't care if you don't want to get up there that night. They don't care if you stayed up till 5:30 in the morning drinking too much wine, whatever. They want to see what they have in their head and in their hearts when that music comes on the radio or a video. They want to see that live. And this is what I say to every up-and-coming musician. Careful what you wish for, because you really have to want to be in it when you're playing 4 or 5 nights a week with no recoup time, because those other 2 days are travel days to another further out city, or, dipping into the States or wherever you're going to go. And you can't say no. Whereas if you're playing, the local Joe Blow's pub grill, and you're the regular guy that plays there on a Tuesday, 2 Tuesdays a month or whatever, you can phone in and be like, sore today. I don't really feel like going in. You can't do that when there's like thousands of people that have like, Haywire. It's like, yeah, I guess we're going on.
Right. No, that's a very good point. And actually, some of the comments here I'm looking at, guys, Alan Zelkowski is just said, well said, JD.
Right on. Thanks, sir.
Yeah, and somebody else, Perry Boyko, is a really great supporter of the show, a good friend of mine. He's saying you guys totally need to play Rock the River in Saskatoon, which is David was just mentioning. Brian Sullivan says no turkey jokes. And Scott McCluskey is enjoying the show. He's saying great show, everyone.
Oh, awesome.
So
thanks, Scott.
Thanks for joining us today, guys. The comments just keep them coming here. I'm gonna give this next question to Sean, because I'm kind of a fan of his smartassery already. So I'll start with him. Sean, what advice, looking back, if you knew what you knew now, what advice would you give your 18-year-old self?
18? Tough out the last 2 months of grade 12. I couldn't get it. I made it all year, but May, I just couldn't do the last 2 months. And so I did finish grade 12. So here I am on the Haywire tour bus getting my GED for my mom.
Oh, good for you. Good for you.
The rest of my life knowing I was that big a disappointment to it. So just tough out those 2 months and get it done while you're there. That's it.
You know what, man? Same thing. Funny story. I got an honorary from. I'm not gonna mention the school, but after I had some success and I had charted a #1 single in Canada, I had this ceremony, and they presented me with this, and they spelled honorary incorrectly.
Oh.
And they spelled it on air area with 2 A's, right? And I was like, and I got home and I was like, this. So I had to go into the principal of the school and be like, hi, can I get one that's spelled from
and he was like, knows it.
Absolutely, yeah, we'll get that for you right now. Okay, great, thank you. Yeah.
Ronnie, same question for you. Any advice if you could know what you know now and give that younger Ronnie some advice, what would it be?
Practice doing it.
I'm sorry?
Practice more doing interviews.
Practice.
I don't want to.
Oh my God. That's
Probably
great.
I didn't come to the last. I went back, but that's probably.
I know that when we first started for our first album, it was like there was no media school. There was no place to throw a camera in front of you. I mean, we basically sit here, and there's J.D. Roberts, microphone in your face, and it was just like top organic. We didn't know how to do it. It's pretty frightening.
Right. Yeah, interviews. I know there's a lot of people that are rattled by interviews, and I don't know. I feel pretty fortunate that we can do it with this format, and you can literally just have people right in your own office or your living room or wherever from across the country, and it's kind of a cool thing. David, I'll ask you the same question.
I think what I would say to my 18-year-old self would be to enjoy the run.
Enjoy the run.
And savor every moment, because it's, when I look back at some of the gigs that we did on playing that festival.
There we go.
There we go.
Dave, your thumb is covering the mic.
Oh, is it better now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, no, it's just to enjoy each of those, just slow down a little bit more, I think, just to take those in and really for what they are. It's hard when you're in the middle of it to do that all the time, but that's what I wish that I would have done. Slow down a little bit and savor.
Great.
Yeah, that's great.
Great. Yeah. Great advice. JD, what would you say has been your greatest achievement or award to date? And it doesn't have to be professionally, it can be personally or...
I got engaged about a month ago. I'm very happy.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. Been keeping it under wraps, so this is like the first official announcement. But raising.
Well, I feel honored. I feel honored. Thank you
No,
for
this is it.
announcing
Yeah,
that on my show.
No one really knows except
Sweet.
our families. But I think to be honest, my parents were divorced when I was like 6, and kind of, grew up between aunts and uncles and grandparents, and mom went back to school, so stayed with godparents and stayed with aunt and uncle. And I feel really proud of the fact that, pretty much every day for the last 7 years, I've been a part of this, my fiance's son's life, and being able to help see him grow from, a 10-year-old boy to now almost an 18-year-old beautiful young man who's just got the world at his fingertips, and he's just turned into the most incredible thing. And I never thought, that you don't want to give up the rock star, whatever. But there's a certain immaturity in that you can't progress anymore because you're just stuck in this thing. And I was always afraid of like settling down and but it's been the single most rewarding thing that has ever happened to me in my life. It's just helping my girl raise her son, and that's it.
Oh, that was the smartest answer you could have given, JD, right?
Get it from tonight.
And I'm just curious. So does the son know that his stepdad's a rock star?
Oh yeah, actually, he knows every word. He knows every word. It's funny how it started. His name is JD as well, so it's funny.
Oh wow!
How it started. About 8 years ago, I was walking my dog, and this kid came up on a BMX bike with about 4 other kids, and he said, "I was named after you," and then just kept riding down the street. And I never thought anything of it because it's a small town. I went, "Oh, okay,
sure, yeah."
Your name is awesome. Oh, cool. No, so,
I know.
yeah. So I started. I was at the gym, and I coincidentally met his mother, and I told her about this kid, and I said, small town. She said, "No, that's my son." I was like, "Oh, that's your son."
Oh wow.
So fast forward to we've gone on a few dates, and one of my the local MLA here, who's a friend of mine, was speaking at the elementary school, and he introduced himself, and then he said to the classroom, and this is after like 4 dates we've been on, 4 dates, in about a month, and he said, "Does anybody have anything interesting stories about themselves?" And my son now put his hand up at 10 years old and said, "JD Fortune is my stepdad." And my friend called me and he's like, "Hey man, I think you should know there's a kid at this school that thinks you're his stepdad." And I'm like, well,
he's delusional.
yeah. So it was like, it could have been a deal breaker, right? But it just kind of, we laughed about it, and now he's just the most amazing kid, and I feel very privileged, and it also, when I was in INXS, I was sort of a free spirit, and there was nothing really, nothing's gonna hold me down.
Right.
Yeah. And I think the timing with being in Haywire at this point now, having a more experienced life and a more mature life behind me,
right,
musically, also complemented with the fact that these 4 guys are just friggin' awesome human beings. And I think if I would have approached it the same way I approached it, 15 years ago with the other band, it probably wouldn't have worked out the same.
Different outcome.
Right, yeah. I had my demons, as everybody does.
Right.
And when you have something like a family that's bigger than yourself, you start realizing, holy crap, there's, it's not just me. There's other emotions and someone's
right.
feelings are involved. So
there's a bigger picture.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just wanted to be there for him every day. At times my relationship with my father has been not estranged, but just, months and months go by, and you kind of regret that the older you get. But I'm here every day. I see him, I wake him up for school, I get him out the door. every day I'm in his life. He hates it some days, but
Great. That's
But
beautiful.
I'm
Beautiful
here.
stuff. Yeah, awesome, JD.
Thank you.
So, Scott McCluskey is saying, great show, everybody. Good to see you all. My good friend, local musician Joshua Rolls is saying, JD, that's an awesome story, amazing story.
thanks, Josh.
Yeah, you betcha. And Barb Sims, huge supporter of the fan, beautiful lady, huge Canadian music supporter. She's just saying, great to see you guys. Favorite band. What's up, Barb? Happy Thanksgiving, and so yeah, anybody can answer this. What's next for Haywire? What do we have to look forward to in the future?
I think some originals, yeah.
Maybe we'll start with you, David.
Well, you know what? It's pretty exciting time because we can really write the next chapter of what the band is, and with JD involved, it's like I know our brains are kind of moving full speed ahead and just try to figure out what we know all the options, what we can do, and it's like what that's going to look like with JD driving the ship. So it's very exciting time.
Kaboom!
Just one other note. I'm just glad that we're able to put pressure on JD to bring him down. The four of us, we take pride in ourselves to really bringing people down. So that's awesome.
Oh, that's great. I knew I was doing something great because Ronnie did not smile for the entire time that I've known him until the very last show on Sunday, and I have it on tape, Ronnie. I said, you turned to me and you got a great big shit-eating grin on your face and you put your hand out, and I was like, yes, Ronnie is smiling. We did something right.
Right, I'm hard not to smile after a weekend like that, eh?
Oh yeah.
Like wow. And so, is there some shows coming up? Marvin, go ahead.
I'm not sure what. I know there's discussions about things right now, but those three shows are kind of like to really see if this works. We kind of
Right.
we knew going in. I think it's going to work. And we're pretty sure, but what's the fan reaction going to be? How's it going to sound? And what's 3 nights that really showed that showed 7 weeks.
Right.
The first night my wrist was yellow, and all of a sudden second night it's like, oh, well, here it goes. There, so it takes a while to get back on the bike. Really
For sure. When I was talking to Ronnie about doing this, Ronnie was the first one that I was in contact with to do this show, and it was kind of like you just described, Marvin. It's like, well, we're going to see how it goes with JD, and before we agree to the interview, and I was like, Haywire with JD Fortune. How could that not work out?
Right.
Like how could that not work out? And so I actually just kind of saved this date for you guys anyway because
Kelly?
I knew it was going to work, and I knew that you guys would be here today. And I'm so grateful that you took time out of your Thanksgiving Sunday. Marvin, did you want to say something there?
I will say this: the Haywire catalog, the JD catalog, Haywire catalog, the JD catalog is so cool to play. Oh my God, it's like an hour and a half of just.
Oh yeah, it's a great show. I love it.
Great.
Feels good. And
Right
new songs
on.
to come. I think in answer to your question, we were toying with some idea of maybe doing some shows mid-November, but it's just with the restrictions and everything like that, we got to figure out what's going on. But definitely, I think as a band, we would like to move forward and explore some original stuff. Like I said to them, I come from a very strong belief that, Haywire is not one of the, like everywhere you go in the world, they're like, hey, Rush, and like you're Canadian, oh, Rush, or whatever. And it's
Right.
like, there's a lot of politics when you get up to the level that these guys have got to, and there's what's called Canadian content, as you know,
Right.
Kelly, and stuff like that. So, for example, some of the stuff I wrote with INXS is not, doesn't qualify for Canadian content, which kind of sucks because, what does that even mean? And
Right.
right, and then there's a lot of there's a lot of people that probably back in the day when Haywire was, just going like this, we're probably, well, let's keep these guys from the Maritimes. Let's keep them right here because this is where I like them, or whatever the political thing was. But I would love to have this be all of us write an album, and one of those songs breaks top 10 in not only Canada but maybe some other countries, and just really put that stamp on it, where it's like, this is what true musicianship and true quality of songwriting is all about. It doesn't matter what year it is. It doesn't matter how old you are. You don't have to be 15 years old with a a beatbox in a studio with an auto
Exactly.
tuner. You need to hear music, and when you hear great music, it doesn't matter where it's coming from. It's just going to hit you right in your heart, and hopefully it connects with people. So I'm really looking forward to that moment.
Right on, guys. I'm going to read one more comment here, and then I'm going to let you get on with your Thanksgiving Day here. So Donna Rost is saying, Kelly, I love listening to everyone's answer. It was such a great way to get to know my favorite band better. Congratulations to Sean for finishing the last 2 months of school. And congratulations to JD for getting engaged. Very cool interview with you guys. Rob Melody Chamber Castro Glaviani is saying, I know how that feels. I mean, I'm not famous by any means, but every time I tell people I'm a blind guitarist, they say, oh, like Jeff Healey. I get sick of that too. So he's relating to you a little bit there.
Right.
So thank you guys for your comments and questions and for joining us today. Guys, I can't thank you enough for joining us today. And thanks on behalf of everybody listening, on behalf of all the fans and everybody listening, thanks for giving us these songs that were, literally the soundtrack to our lives, and continued success. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Thanks, Kelly.
Thanks, guys. Take care. We'll talk to you soon.
Okay, we'll talk to you guys soon.
All right. Bye.
Later, guys. Catch up with you. Talk to you later. Safe travels, Dave. Safe travels.
Thanks so much for tuning in, everybody. I'm Kelly Barrett with Etcetera on the Vibe Live. Take care until we see you next week. Stay safe and sane. Take care. Bye-bye.